For NA Revision Checklist Part 2B. In this part of the lessons today, we'll just cover one simple topic on map scale. Ratio, rate, and proportion. Now we're going to look at the scale of a map down here. It's given to be 1:50,000. So now we start off with no units. So I'm going to add units to it such that it's easier for me to calculate. The distance on the map between two towns is given to be 22.5 cm, so I shall add a cm to the map, and if this starts with the ratio, both of them must be the same. Now next they want to find the actual distance in kilometers, so I'm going to change this unit to kilometers. How do I change the units from cm to kilometer? So I have kilometer, meters, and cm. So this is related here by 1000 and 100. So to change from cm to kilometers, I will divide by 100, divide by 1000. So I shall divide by 100,000, and that gives me the number 0.5 kilometers. So 1 cm is to 0.5 kilometers. Find the actual distance. Now they gave me the number over here to use, and that is 22.5. So I'm going to use this number on my map, 22.5 cm, to get the answer 11.25 kilometers. Now next part, we're going to find the area. So the actual area they have given us, but before we find area, we should write down our map and actual. Which version of the ratio are we going to use? Are we going to use the original version, or are we going to use the version that we have changed the units? Now this one over here tells us that's kilometer square, so we use the version where there is a kilometer square, correct? So I shall use 1 cm is to 0.5 kilometers. Now how do I change from length to the area scale? I need to square all my terms. So 1 square cm square, 0.5 square kilometers square. So that means 1 cm square is 0.25 kilometers square. If my actual area is 25 kilometers square, how do I find the distance on my map? So actually I multiply by 100. So answer will be 100 cm square. So this will be the answer. Let's continue with the next question. Okay, so a model of an aquarium is made using a scale of 1:400. So map is to actual 1:400. The pillar on the model is cm, so actually you should use this be called a model instead of map. So this will be model, and that's the actual. So if I want to find 4 cm and they want the units to be in meters, so I always have a habit of finding meters, changing the units first, so that I will not make mistakes, right? So I'll keep this as 1 cm, but I'll change from cm to meters. So divide by 100, and this is 4 meters. So now if I want 4 cm, that will be 16 meters. Calculate the floor area of the model. So model gives me, which ratio should I use? They want the answer here in terms of meter square, so I should use this version of the ratio. 1 cm is to 4 meters, right? So now they want the area. Area will be 1 square cm square 4 square meters square. That will give me 1 cm square is to 4 times 4, 16 meters square. Now they tell me the actual area is 162 meters square. How do I find the answer? We take 162 divided by 16 times, and that will give me 10 and 1/8 cm square. Now I'm going to keep this as the original value, not going to change it. Moving on. We have the following question over here. Now, this sea aquarium has a perimeter of 3 cm on the map, but the actual perimeter of the aquarium is 3.75. So now we have map is to actual. The one on the map is 3 cm and the actual one is 3.75 kilometers. Now usually I always like to start with changing of units first. So to change from kilometers to meter is times 1000, and then change to cm is times another 100. So this number in terms of cm, because if I want a ratio, both of them should have the same number of units. So if I want to change it to cm, that will be 3.75 times 100,000 and gives me 375,123. Find the scale of the map in the form 1:r. So got to make this 1 cm. Now you notice that our cm on both sides are already the same units, so I'm going to drop off the cm. So then I'll divide by 3 to give me the answer 1:125,000. So this is the scale of the map. Have you gotten your answer? Let's continue to the next question. The diagram is a scaled drawing of a room. Oh dear, I can't measure this. Okay, wait, give me a minute. I need to use the actual ruler and measure the length on your paper. So now this question itself, I will need your help. Okay, so can you please tell me what is the actual length that you measured for AD? Because my version is being enlarged, I can't really see what's my length of AD. So what you need to do here is you're going to measure this length over here, A to D, and you got to measure this length on your diagram. So you need to tell me what is the measurement for your length. So for map is to the actual, using your measurement, okay, something cm, probably 5 cm or something, I'm not very sure how much it was, and is to 12.5 meters. They asked me to find the actual width of the room. So now what you need to do is to measure the width over here in your ruler, from your ruler. So then you find this number of cm is to how many meters. So we use the working to find the answer in terms of meters. And part B, we need to find the scale of the drawing in the form 1:n. So we have our original map is to actual is the number of cm for AD is to 12.5 meters. Now usually what I always like to do is to change the units first. So 1 meter have 100 cm. So I'm going to multiply these by 100 and change it to cm. And now I have something, your measurement, okay, of AD, cm, and now we try to change it to 1 is to something. So we're going to divide so that we can get the ratio. Now I won't be able to know the answer because different people, your diagram measures, you may measure it slightly different. Alright, so now let's us move on to the next question. Now in this question over here, it says that 500 meters, so the actual, is represented by 1 cm on the map. Find in kilometers. So I'm going to change the units to kilometers. 1 kilometer has 1000 meters, so I'm going to divide by 1000. That gives me 0.5 kilometer, and it's for 1 cm. Find in kilometers the actual length of a road, that is 3.5 cm. So 3.5 cm, we'll find the answer to be 1.75 kilometers. Have you gotten the answer? Now going to part 2. Find in square meters the area on the map that represents an actual area of 1.5 kilometers square. So now this unit here is kilometers, right? Which of these 3 scales am I going to use? I'm going to use the one with a kilometer. 1 cm is to 0.5 kilometers. Now I need to find the area. So that would be 1 square cm square, 0.5 square kilometers square. So square everything. And I have 0.5 square to be the number 0.25 kilometers square. And now they want me to find the actual area of 1.5. So I'm going to put 1.5 kilometers square here. How do I find the answer? Well, take 1.5 divided by 0.25 times 1. And that gives you the answer 6 cm square. Okay, shall we move on? Next question. The scale of the above map can be represented as 1:n. Oh, what's the value of n? So I know that on my map and actual is given by 1 cm is to 0.5 kilometers. And now if I want it in the ratio form, both sides must have the same number of units. So I'm going to keep my cm and I'm going to change kilometers to cm. So kilometer to meter and meters to cm. So I need to multiply by 100,000. Gives me 50,000 cm. Now since both the units are the same, and this is 1 over here, so we just drop the units and the ratio will be 1:50,000. Have you gotten the answer? The actual area of a part of an aquarium is 16 kilometers square. Also, now I started off with area. Map is to actual. Now we are talking about area. So the actual area is 16 kilometers square, and then it's represented by an area of 400 cm square on the map. Now let's take a look. From length, how did I change it to area? I took the length, the ratio of the length, and I square it, right? So now for area, how do I undo and change it to length? What's the opposite of square? Now, some of you would tell me divide by 2, right? No, it's not divide by 2. It is square root. So now we shall take a look at this ratio first. Is it easy to square root 400? Do I get a nice number? Is it okay to square root 16? Do I get a nice number? Yes, I can. So in this case, I can square root and get numbers directly. But if there are cases where the numbers are not very nice numbers, so what you should do is simplify the ratio first to 1 is to something, then you take square root. Now after we take square root, what are the units? The units are now from cm square, it has changed to cm. And from kilometer square, it has changed to kilometers. Now square root of 400 will give me 20. Square root of 16 will give me 4. Now if map A is drawn to a scale of 1 is to k, now when we have a ratio, we must make sure the units on both sides are the same. So I will need to change my kilometers to cm. How do I change my kilometers to cm? From kilometer to meter is 1000. And then meter to cm is another 100. So times 100,000. And that will give me 400,000, 20 cm. Now, once the units are the same, I can drop away the units and I find 1 unit. So 400,000 divided by 20 to give me 20,000. So question is this. Oh, but the question highlighted here says find the value of k. They didn't want the ratio. So in this case, I have to state that k is equals to 20,000. So we must always answer to the question. Next part of the question, distance between two locations on a map is 8.6. So I now have my simplified version where we have it in terms of length. So map is to actual. I can use a couple of variations. There are one of them is 20 cm and 4 kilometers. The units has already been changed, and the other one we start from scratch. So for me, I'll copy the one with 20 cm is to 4 kilometers so that I don't need to change the units again. So now the distance between two locations on one map A, so this is actually map A. And it says map A has the distance of 8.6 cm. So let's find what is this actual distance. Okay, 8.6 divided by 20 times 4. So I will have my answer to be 1.72 kilometers. Okay, I'm going to keep this since they say it's an actual. Find the distance of the same two location on another map B. Also now I have another map B, but now you have a scale of 1 cm is to 0.4 kilometers. So map is to actual 1 cm 0.4 kilometers. Alright, so from this one we can see that I have 8.6, which is an actual distance of 1.72 kilometers. Now actual distance does not change because your actual fact is 1.72 kilometers, right? But when you draw to on different map, the map distance can change. So now what does it mean? It means that this actual distance over here stays the same in map B. So now I want to find 1.72 kilometers for my actual. And what is this distance represented on map B? So in this case, we shall get the answer 1.72 divided by 0.4 times 1. And that gives me the answer 4.3 cm. State which map has a longer distance between the two locations. Well, the distance on map A is 8.6. The distance on map B is 4.3. So which map has a longer distance? Well, map A. Have you gotten the answer? Now we've come to the end of today's part of the lesson. We shall do something lighter for the day. So now up next we'll be doing on direct and inverse proportions. Please try to recall your concepts taught in Sec 2. Now and then if you can, we'll try the following questions first. So I shall see you for the next lesson.